Good time zone. It's me, DjDoubleT, here and existing with some more Dreambound as we dive into the next bit of chapters and reading. Well, you know what Dreambound is, the story of Dune BL. Let's see where we are, where we last left off then. They both fell through that familiar darkness at a similar speed, the wind whipping their hair around their faces. It wasn't the first time yet. For some reason, it felt like it could be the last. Noah's shoulder throbbed in pain, begging for rest, but Noah couldn't give himself rest. Not yet. Not while the final act was still waiting to play out. He braced himself for the impact that suddenly came as light appeared in the distance. A moment later, Ivan crashed down beside him, landing carefully on one knee. Noah nearly groaned out loud as he knocked his shoulder, but instead, he just bit his lip through the pain. The sound of an organ drifted to the pair's ears from places unseen. Noah quickly got to his feet, his eyes passing over everything quickly. They seemed to be in a church, an empty one. There were no doors out, and the world beyond the windows seemed to be nothingness. All that existed was this room, with rows and rows of empty pews and the casket that sat ahead of the pair. The air in the church felt heavy, carrying a sense of desolation and loneliness that Noah knew all too well. It was a hefty weight that sat against his shoulders, pushing him down, gnawing away at his resolution. Still, Noah shook it off. He was stronger than this place, this empty, quiet, lonely place. In a way, it reminded him of himself. Dust particles danced in the dim light that filtered through the glass windows. The nothingness beyond seemed to be drawing Noah in, inviting him to become nothingness himself. A church, huh? Is our killer a religious man? Ivan's voice broke through the almost silence that was filled with the haunting melody of the organ, which echoed through the large hall. Maybe. Maybe. Noah's gaze fixated on the casket. It was brown and nondescript, with flowers on top of it. It was a little strange to Noah. He'd never been to a funeral before. The casket was almost the centerpiece of the somber room, as if it was a reminder of his own mortality. What if it's Jasper actually is the killer? A reminder that everything he loved would one day die. That doesn't mean that love isn't worth it in the first place, does it? Noah's footsteps echoed softly as he approached the casket, his heart pounding with a mix of trepidation and determination. The air grew colder as he drew nearer, a chill that seeped into his bones. He didn't want to open it. He didn't want to see what was inside. What other choice did he have? Ivan quickly walked to stand beside him. Does this make us grave robbers? Casket robbers at the very least. Noah reached out towards the lid of the casket but froze as his hand came into contact with it. A shiver ran down his body as the haunting melody instantly faded away. Noah's eyes quickly found Ivan's, confirming they could both feel the change. Laughter echoed through the air, though it came from neither Ivan nor Noah. They both turned, and that's when they saw it. The room was no longer empty. It was filled with people, though people probably wasn't the correct term. Shadows of people, phantoms. The phantoms filled the pews, their ethereal forms flickering in and out of existence. Their faces were obscured, their features distorted by a veil of darkness. They whispered and murmured, their voices blending into an eerie symphony of sorrow and longing. Noah felt a chill crawl up his spine as the phantoms swayed in unison, their movements synchronized with the haunting melody that once again filled the air. What the hell? It's just a dream. It's not real. Right. God. Sometimes it's hard to remember that. In the center of it all was what looked like a young boy. His corporal form seemed to be curled into a tight ball on the ground. Two people stood above him, arguing as what could only be described as silent wails escaped him. But they didn't turn towards the boy or offer him love. Their words tore through the air like shards of broken glass, cutting him instead. Noah felt drawn to the boy, like he was being pulled towards him by some invisible force. He took a hesitant step forward, but Ivan grabbed his arm, holding him back. What are you doing? This could be important. Don't mess with it. He needs help. Since when did you care so much if someone needed help? It's not even real. The sad scene continued to play out in front of them. The adults seemingly finished arguing, turned away from each, and disappearing into nothing. Ignoring Ivan's words and shaking off his hand, Noah crept closer to the young boy, whose shadowed face was edged with sadness and confusion. But before he could say anything, the boy disappeared, as did the rest of the phantoms, and Noah was left with an overwhelming sense of abandonment. What did I tell you? Can you feel that? Feel what? That heavy weight in your chest. Ivan simply shrugged. Noah wondered if the man felt anything at all. Noah stood there for a moment, his gaze fixed on the empty space where the young boy had been. The heaviness in his chest persisted despite Ivan's indifference. With a pained heart, Noah's hand once again reached out to the coffin, ready to open it. This time the shadowy whispers of the phantoms returned, offering a question. Who was abandoned? The boy? The boy? The boy? Let's go the boy. Middle one. The voice disappeared at once, and 3 shadowy figures appeared in front of Noah and Ivan. The 3 figures stood before Noah and Ivan, their forms shifting and flickering in the dim light of the church. Their features were obscured, but their presence exuded an aura of loss and longing. It was different from the sense of abandonment that came from the young boy a moment ago. This was the feeling of friendship and love torn from their grips, a feeling Noah already knew too well. Before he could reach out to the phantoms and ask them any questions, the first figure slowly raised a hand pointing towards Noah. A sorrowful sigh echoed through the air. Friendship lost. Gone, gone, gone away. Alone, alone, alone. Noah's heart tightened, his mind racing as he tried to make meaning of the whispered words. The second figure stepped forward, its voice barely whispered yet carrying the weight of 1,000 unshed tears. It pointed towards the coffin with its incorporeal hand. Buried. Alone and buried. Loss and pain and guilt and loneliness. The third figure, distinct from the others, remained still. It didn't point or speak up. It simply existed alone, as the other 2 phantoms sunk to the ground and disappeared into nothingness. Only then did it finally say something. Alone, lost, and alone. And then it too disappeared. What is going on here? It doesn't need to make any sense. It's a dream. Even dreams have meaning sometimes, Ivan. This all means something. Or it means nothing, and you're just gazing into the mind of a madman. Ironic, coming from you. Ivan shrugged. I've never disputed my sanity. Ignoring the strange man, Noah reached for the coffin once again, and this time wasn't surprised when the voice asked him the question. Who was left behind? The boy? The boy? The boy? Little boy. The voice just as the last hand disappeared and one phantom reappeared within the room. Its presence was different from the others, emanating a sense of determination and purpose. The phantom stood tall, its form shrouded in darkness. As Noah observed, he couldn't help but feel a pain of recognition, a flicker of familiarity. The young boy was abandonment, the young man was loneliness. The man instead seemed to be resolution. Who? His voice grated against Noah and Ivan's ears. I am the echo of the decisions made. I am the path taken, forged in solitude and desperation. I am the savior and the future. I am the one who... The one who? Even Ivan was somewhat interested in it now, his arms crossed and his foot tapping against the carpeted floor. I am I'm the one who carries the burden of choices, the consequences of actions taken. In the face of darkness, I found resolve, the resolve to no longer be alone. The Phantom Resolution's words hung in the air, their weight sinking into the hearts of Noah and Ivan. It was as if the Phantom was revealing a part of himself that had long been hidden. Your resolve, it brought you to this moment. What does it mean? What is your purpose? My purpose is to help you. The Phantom's voice resonated with a mixture of remorse and determination, as if it was unsure of its path, despite its resolution. By killing people? Yes. I am your crossroad. Excuse me. The Phantom collapsed in on itself, becoming a dark mist that rolled along the floor. Wordlessly, for neither man had anything left to say, Noah reached back towards the coffin, the voice reaching back out to him in turn. Who would do anything to help you? Flashbang. But in place of an answer, the lid of the coffin opened, and smoke filled the room, clouding Noah's vision. He coughed and spluttered, desperately trying to fan it away from him, and Ivan did the same before it suddenly cleared from the room. And in front of the coffin stood a man. A man that Noah knew well. A man Noah thought he knew well. Cain? Why is it you? Why is it you here? Cain's face was a mask of sadness. It was a lonely face. Why? Tell me why. I don't have an answer for you that will make you feel better. The room fell silent as Noah and Cain locked eyes. The weight of their unspoken history hung heavily between them. Noah's heart ached, torn between longing for answers and the fear of what those answers might bring. Tell me anyway. Explain to me. How? How this can be true? Cain took a deep breath, his gaze faltering for a moment. I just wanted to help you move forward. Really? Is that all it was? Ivan's mocking voice called from behind. I think it's more selfish than that, don't you? What? I wanted to help you, Noah. I wanted to get rid of all the people who hurt you. You wanted to not be alone any longer. You wanted to save him and have him depend on you. No, I wanted to help. But you hated the idea of anyone else helping him. You hated Crow? He's bad for you, Noah. He's not August. He'll just hold you in the past. He's dead. And he was the one that helped me move on. The room grew tense as the truth hung heavy in the air. Noah's voice wavered with a mix of emotions, his heart torn between the friend he had once trusted and the truth of his actions. Why is it you, Cain? Once again, I've lost a person who cared for me more than anything else. What about me? Cain's voice trembled with a mix of hurt and desperation. You did all of this in secret. You killed people, Cain. How could you ever think that more death would help me heal? Because those people were keeping you in the past. No, you're still not listening. To run away from the past, to pretend it never happened, then I might as well throw away all the good things that happened back then, too. Our friendship, meeting August, the rare times when Asher and I would actually get along, everything Rosemary gave me. There was happiness amidst that sadness, Cain. I'm not ready to give that up. But they made you suffer. And I'm ready to move on from that. Not to forget, not to get rid of the past, but to move forward. Thanks to Crow. You don't get to decide what or who is best for me. By now, Kane's eyes were downcast, his face etched with guilt and shame. Noah's heart wavered between anger and a flicker of compassion. He saw the remorse in Kane's eyes, the genuine regret for the pain he had inflicted. And yet, he couldn't give himself forgiveness. He couldn't give him forgiveness. He couldn't excuse him for his actions. This wasn't his apology to receive. The only people who Kane could beg for forgiveness were already dead. Rosamie was my friend, whether you knew that or not. And now, she's dead. She gave her life so I could see Crow one last time. And now he's dead too. I even shifted in place but didn't say anything. My parents are dead. Luca is dead. A handful of people from back home that I hadn't thought of in years are dead, just because you thought I'd want that. I hated them. I'll never forgive them, but Noah's hands balled into fists at his side. You understand, don't you? I don't need to say it. You really picked someone that doesn't even exist over your friendship with me. His words were gentle, as if he didn't really want Noah to have heard them. But he did. I picked the future. What do you want me to do then? I'm just a murderer. Noah looked towards Ivan as if asking for some kind of support, but Ivan just shrugged. Go. Hand yourself in. If we're still friends, then you'll do that for me. Kane smiled, but it wasn't like his usual smiles. His smile was usually bright, kind of charismatic. This one seemed to be a shadow of that, one filled with self-hate and loathing. We're not friends, Noah. That much is obvious to me now. But I'll do it, still. I feel bad for Kane. Because, like, I feel like Kane did care. But if Noah was able to at least talk and communicate, I think a lot of this could have been avoided. Also, therapy. Y'all need therapy. Kane turned around. His back for once looked awfully small. Noah hadn't even noticed that he reached out towards him, as if to comfort him when the impact hit him. A blunt strike to the back of his head, and everything went black. I told you, didn't I? That you'd pay the price for staying around me. Nothing personal. Work is just work. Pain ran through both his shoulder and his head. Everything was dark, empty, devoid of light and life. Noah slowly regained consciousness, his head pounding and his vision blurry. He found himself lying on the ground, surrounded by silence. He struggled to make sense of surroundings, his mind still groggy from the blow to his head. As his vision cleared, he noticed he was still within the dream, though no one else was present. He pushed himself up, wincing at the pain in his head and shoulder. It felt like his arm was bleeding again from the movement, but he was pleased to see no blood came from the back of his head when he checked with his hand. Fuck, that hurt. Kane? Ivan? Is someone there? His voice echoed through the empty chamber. There was no response. The room remained silent, except for the soft crackling of the lit candles around the room. Noah turned to leave. That was Ivan, wasn't it? Where did Kane go? I need to go find them. Noah froze in place. Something bright caught his eyes from where Kane had been standing before. A small ball of light. Rosamie's soul core? Noah rushed over to it, reaching out to carefully cup it. But just as his hand came into contact with the wispy light, it exploded outwards. Light filled the room, so bright that Noah had to shield his eyes. Make a wish, and pray. What? Light was quickly fading. He didn't have time to think about it. All he could do was shut his eyes tight and make a wish. Please. Please. Crow, come back. Silence followed his pleas as he opened his eyes again. The light was gone, and the room had returned to its somber quietness. Nothing had changed. So much for a wish. Noah turned again, this time ready to leave this dream behind before it became dangerous. The fact that this was Kane's dream, yet Kane was no longer here, made him fear staying for too long. That familiar feeling in his stomach, like everything was being flipped and turned upside down, returned as the world faded away into... As he fell, Noah's eyes went wide. The usual large, dark expanse of nothingness that was the space between dreams and reality had gone, and in its place was a blazing white. Fragments of what looked like broken glass flew by him in the opposite direction. In each one, he saw him. A piece of crow. A memory. Their first meeting so long ago, in a fantasy land that fell down around them, sitting upon a cloud, gazing out at the beyond. Crow's happiness and his loneliness and his love, all of it. Noah's heart pounded in his chest as he reached out, determined to grasp hold of those shattered fragments of memories. The swirling white space around him seemed to resist his efforts, as if trying to keep him from his destination. But Noah was resolute. Pressed forward, ever forward, the memories passing by him in a whirlwind. The pain of memories, the joy, the laughter, and the tears, they all surged through him, driving him forward. They felt warm. Warm. Not warm. They felt like home. Slowly, piece by piece, each part of them came together. The fragments, once broken and scattered, now blazed with intensity that filled the space around Noah. The light pulsed and danced, swirling and intertwining. Then, as if only naturally, was there. A man with blonde hair and green eyes shut tightly in his arms. Together they fell, enveloped by light, their bodies intertwined until they reached reality. Noah braced for impact, but found his landing softened by his bed. Still, his shoulders screamed at him for all the movement, and Noah was certain he'd regret it later. Still, that didn't matter. Not now. Not when, in a panic, he looked down into his arms, so as he saw Crow with his eyes shut, gently sleeping. Crow? Noah wrapped his arms around Crow, holding him close, feeling the rise and the fall of his chest with each breath. The weight of Crow's presence in his arms reassured Noah. This was real. Crow was here, and he was whole. Tears instantly welled up in Noah's eyes. Crow! Crow! If it's really you, you're really here. Crow shifted slightly, and soon enough his long eyelashes fluttered open. Noah? Crow, you're here. You're really here. I missed you. I missed you so much. I thought you were gone. His eyes were sleepy, but he instantly sat up as he noticed Noah's teary eyes. What happened? We were watching sunrise and then... Are we still in that dream? Noah shook his head, then reached out to brush a strand of hair away from Crow's face. His touch was gentle, as if Crow was so fragile he'd simply disappear. Noah, your shoulder! Crow's eyes went to Noah's shirt, which was already spread with blood. I'll worry about it after. Noah, you have to go back and... Come on, come with me. Noah stood and put his hand out to Crow, who took it tentatively. He rose to his feet as well, and Noah followed behind Noah as he pulled him along. Past his living room, filled with paintings, through the hall beyond and down the elevator, until they were under the blue sky, the sun blazing far above them. People rushed to and fro, cars beeped as they were caught in a traffic jam, and the sound of the whole world alive filled their ears. Crow looked on with wide, shocked eyes. The bustling city streets seemed to overwhelm him as he took in the sights and sounds of the vibrant world around him. This is reality? Yeah, it is. His hands went to himself. He felt his face, his clothes, his hair, as if searching for something that wasn't real. I'm real? I'm real. You've always been real, Crow. Right from the very start. That's what you told me, that you existed and that was enough. How? Rosemary, I think it was her soul. It shattered. In those shattered fragments, I saw you, Crow. I made a wish, and somehow it brought you back to me. Crow's hand found Noah. It was an act of gratitude, of anxiousness, of fear, and love for the future. What do I do now? Stay with me. Please. Noah, how is yours from so long ago? Of course I'll stay. The two kissed, their bodies intertwined. Hand in hand, they faced the world, a world that had shut its doors to both men long ago. And together, they could face their future. You can't tell me that's just the end. Bruh, no, I feel so unsatisfied. Because who smacked me in the head, first of all? And maybe pass out. Was it Ivan? Oh, it was probably Ivan who did that. Because Ivan wasn't there any longer. And I guess Kane, well, he was there for the Kane drama. But man, that's the end. Whoa, there's so many people that actually like donated and helped. Please don't. We searched for them. We searched tirelessly for months. Kane was gone. His apartment was empty. A missing persons case was picked up by the police, but they couldn't find a trace of him anywhere. As for Ivan, there was no official search conducted for him. The world carried on, oblivious to his absence except for us. We scoured every corner, questioning everyone who might have had a connection to them, but it seemed as though they had become ghosts, fading away from the memories of those who once knew them. The two, like petals on the wind, disappeared. No matter where we searched, no matter who we spoke to, it was like neither man ever existed in the first place. The weight of the search bore heavily on my shoulders. The burden of uncovering the truth, piecing together the fragments of their lives, and understanding the reasons behind their sudden departure was almost suffocating. Yet despite the uncertainty and the weariness that settled within our hearts, we found solace in the moments we shared together. Crow and me. Months turned into a blur as we persevered, refusing to give up hope. We searched for Daisy, eager to pass on Rosemi's message, but we couldn't find a trace of her. But those months were spent together, and together we watched every sunrise and sunset and moved on to our shared future. Oh, wait, this had us together. Why is it back to me being by myself? Oh. Do we have like specific ones that we don't have yet? Are they like different endings? Did I make poor choices? Either way. No, I don't want to quit the game. How do I get out of... Oh. Okay, so there are certain ones that I can get. So I guess it's based on like story and choices. But I wonder what would happen then. Like, what else could go on? But, wow. Well, Guys, that's the end of Dreambound, the series. We've gone through a full playthrough, we've gone through some stories. I'm not been able to collect everything, but I wonder if there's a better ending with Kane. Like, could you have everybody? Like, what if there's an ending where you don't get Crow and you get Ivan? Or an ending where you get Kane? Oh well. Well, the series was fun while it lasted. If you want to see all of it, well, thank you to everybody who came by for this section of Dreambound and the finale of it, apparently. And if you want to see me live for any other games, feel free to come to Twitch. Oh, if you see it on YouTube, feel free to come to Twitch. Yes. And if you have missed any of the series and you want to watch it live, it should, well, not live. If you want to see it, it's all on YouTube from beginning to end. I will say the quality varies based on like how I'm feeling per day, but yeah. Finally, we're done with this. But yeah. Alright. I'll be ending this section here for now, but I'll be right back in a bit. DjDoubleT out and about, and be right back.